Well, good evening. Good evening to everyone, and welcome to our live session this evening, which is on our commitment to sustainability. My name is Clair Wilkins. I'm the Bursar at the college.
And I'm Juanita. I'm a year 13 student at the college, and I chair Green Sock as well as being the eco prefect at the school.
Thanks, Renita. The topics that we're going to cover this evening, which we're very passionate about, include a number of things, but I just thought a little preamble might be useful. So despite the environmental challenges ahead of us, which we're all very aware of, we're actually quite excited about the future opportunities available for us to make quite a significant and lasting change. We do believe that it's our responsibility to educate ourselves and our community so that we can ensure our children and, of course, future generations can live in a world that's not been irreversibly changed by humanity. And we're seeing so much of this at the moment. And we're in this very privileged position to be able to influence a large number of young people. And we take that responsibility very seriously. So we have a vision, therefore, to engage and educate and inspire all of our stakeholders, not just our students. In fact, often they are engaging and inspiring us. But to take positive and effective action on environmental issues. So welcome to our session. I thought we would split the presenting up between myself and Juanita. So Juanita's going to look at education and communication and how powerful that is. And I will just give you a quick summary of our estates and our desire to be carbon neutral. So our environmental policy is split into three areas. So we have three overarching aims. One is to reduce the negative impact that our estates have on our and our facilities have on the environment. One is to significantly reduce our carbon footprint with this desire to be carbon neutral as a part of our journey to do that. And then the third, probably most important one, is to educate ourselves and others on the environmental issues and choices through effective collaboration, communication and curriculum content. And that's where Juanita is going to start.
Yeah, so one of the most sort of important, I guess, things to do with education is obviously our curriculum. I think it's safe to say that St Dunstan's really does incorporate sort of climate change and sustainability into the curriculum. And so it's not just something that you have to do sort of in Green Socks or extracurricularly to learn about. And obviously one of the main areas is geography. I think geography has a lot about sustainability and climate change, rightfully so. And you really learn about that through all the years. So in year 7, you learn about sort of ecosystems and sort of how humans interact with those. And that carries on to year 8, where you learn about conflicts within ecosystems. And also, I think at least sort of half of a term, so that's like a good 6 weeks or so, is dedicated to climate change and learning about the different discussions around that and sort of the arguments and the issues that surround climate change. And so you do really learn about an issue that I think is so relevant, especially for younger students to learn about. And obviously in IGCSE that carries on. You learn about climate change, the sea level rising as part of like your coastal unit, and then at A level, where you really get into sort of the more heavy stuff, I suppose. Sustainability and climate change is really incorporated into everything because it is so relevant to geography. And that's not just in geography, in biology also we learn hugely about sort of the ecology of the environment. I mean, that's like the core of biology. And as that carries on to A level, you learn about conservation and farming, and in lots of other subject areas too. I mean, in physics I learned about green energy and how they're produced and which is the best. You learn about like benefits of tidal energy and benefits of wind energy, and I think it's something so important for us to learn about like going forward, because that is going to be our future and we're going to need to kind of know these things. And so yeah, you really learn about that. Even in economics, I study economics at A level, you have sort of climate change and sustainability incorporated into that, how that affects politics, world leaders. It really is across the board of the curriculum in St Dunstan's. You learn about climate change and sustainability. And one of the other things to mention as well is that we do have UN climate change teacher accreditation at our school. So that means that basically some of our teachers are like really qualified to teach about climate change, and that's great. I mean, it means that they really know what they're talking about, and they can teach it to us in the right way and really sort of get that message across, which I think is really, really great. And I think we're one of the only schools in South London to have that as well. So that is really important to us. Now I'm going to talk about Green Sock, which I actually chair as the eco prefect. And Green Sock is a completely student-led society. So I run it along with some other people in year 13. Here's a photo of some people last year running it with our old year 13s. And essentially it's anyone from any of the years can come, and we do lots of different projects. We do it has been different this year, obviously, because of COVID. I mean, we haven't been able to have these sort of meetings with everyone from all across the years, but we still have been doing work. We have an Instagram page that is posted to all the time. And we really so this year it was mainly sort of sixth form because it is hard to mix the groups because of COVID. But we've been doing we did a lot of brainstorming, sort of a lot of current stuff in the news, learning about that. We reviewed our environmental policy and our environmental review as well. We sort of looked over that, see if anything needed a change. And I'll talk a bit more about that when I get to the Eco Schools Award as well. But yeah, there is a lot of sort of extracurricular stuff you can do. I think biology has an ecology club as well. And we really try and push this sort of anyone can get involved atmosphere. So just the other day there was a sort of a competition for the UN climate change conference, and you can see the letter that was sent out to all the students that I put together myself, sort of encouraging them to take part in this competition, in which it was like an art competition and they get to design their own logo. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity because it's going to be shown in the climate change conference in Glasgow. So yeah, and we really wanted to get that message across that anyone can get involved, and the importance of it as well. So we're constantly sending out competition reminders, and we put posts up around the school about certain things and stuff like that. So yeah, this is just an example of the letter that I sent out as part of that competition. So another aspect I should talk about is the Eco Schools Award. Currently we do have the bronze award, and we're working towards getting our silver, and we're really, really close to getting our silver as well, which is great. But as part of that, we've had to do a lot of stuff. So we've had to do an environmental review of our school, which essentially is like pages and pages, and you have to go around and fill in lots of sort of specific stuff about specifications and how much of this you do and how much wildflowers you have, and etc. And I think that really, really shows just how committed we are, because it's a lot of work to get these awards, and we really do want to put in the work and get those awards because we believe it's so important. And so yeah, as I said, we have our bronze award, we're working towards our silver, hopefully the gold one soon as well. So that is another aspect that I have helped to sort of lead as well. And actually, in terms of the school and the building, I know Miss Wilkins will talk about that in a bit, but we have recently put in a woodland classroom as well. As part of the new build, we sort of had that put in, and that's a really, really great space, especially for the younger years, to do a lot of like outdoor learning and in practice learning about the environment and ecology and conservation, things like that. So it's not just something that we just talk about in class. We can actually go out into the sort of fields and into the woodland classroom and stuff and really put that into place. So yeah, I think that's those are the main points I have to say about sort of educating people at our school and what I do as a student and as someone who works with the students as well, because we also have, actually another thing I should mention, is our student parliament is really, really fantastic. So that is where students from all over the years, there's sort of groups of them, and they're there's a group of like 3 or 4 prefects. So I'm one of the prefects for year 11. We'll go and work with those students. And each week we have a different theme. So one of the themes was sustainability, and it was really great to talk to all the students about what they felt needed to be done in the school, and what we needed to change in the school in terms of sustainability. And then I could go feed that back either to the head boy, or through the sustainability committee, which I helped to chair with Miss Wilkins, and talk to sort of some of the high up people in the school. You know, we have like the head of catering, the head of house staff, lots of teachers who are really passionate, and I feed back what those year 11s have told me and what the other years have told me about sustainability, and we really push for that to actually make a difference. So yeah.
Thank you, Anita. And you sell yourself short a little bit there. One of your assemblies was just absolutely brilliant. We need to put together some of David Attenborough's best bits from some really powerful and compelling footage. And she did some great assemblies, which has been very challenging through COVID times, because in normal circumstances she'd have stood on the stage in front of everybody, but she's had to organise this with the restrictions that are in place. So it's been very effective. So thank you very much, Anita. So just moving on, I'll just cover, before we open up for questions, a few other things that we are committed to as an organisation. Which, should you choose this school, choose our lovely school, then these would be the sorts of things that your children would be aware of. So our college estates and facilities are responsible for, eating up lots of carbon and potentially having quite a negative impact on the environment. So we really like the Just Don't Waste theme that David Attenborough pushes, and we really, we want our students to think about, even if it's just charity shop, thrift shopping. Do you need to buy those clothes? Do you need to buy those items? As this generation really is considering what's sensible. Our catering department are fantastic, as Juanita mentioned. They work with us. They removed use of all single-use plastics. We don't have plastic water bottles. There's been quite a significant reduction in food waste by talking to the students about arranging menus around what they really like. We've increased our sourcing of locally produced items and ingredients. We have meat-free Mondays, and we really are reducing the amount of red meat that we serve. We obviously do the standard stuff you would expect about reducing the use of paper. And what's been wonderful about lockdown, of course, is that we've realised we can operate without any paper. So coming back to college on the 8th of March, it's going to be very different. People won't need to do it. They know they don't need that paper. And we've done lots of wildflower gardens, and I've got a few photos to show you later on. We've planted lots and lots of trees around the perimeter to try and help with the impact of the pollution on the South Circular, and we're very keen to leave lots of wild spaces around the site, just to encourage a whole range of biodiversity. And again, lots of things that you would expect us to say about replacing our lighting with LED, having automatic shutdown on all of our computers and projectors and things like that, amongst a whole range of other things. I thought they would be some useful things to you to know about. And then our desire to become carbon neutral. We're working with a local company that's going to help us achieve that. We haven't set the date yet, but we're very close. As soon as we've got the action plan, we will set the date. And that involves a whole range of things, with reducing energy consumption. Our new buildings are BREEAM excellent, so I can talk to you a little bit about that if anyone's got any questions. Obviously, with the opportunity of a new build, we've got PV panels on the roof, amazing insulation, building management information systems so that we can have a look at the data of the energy that we use. And another big passion of ours, which you might be interested to know about, is safe cycle and pedestrian routes. So we're opening up 2 routes coming into the college so that we can enable our children not to go on the South Circular at all, so they can access the site from the east and west sides. Environmentally friendly vehicles, so replacing our minibuses with environmentally friendly minibuses and only using coaches that are environmentally friendly. And we've just installed 2 electric car points as well onto the site. So that's not everything we're doing, but hopefully a flavour of what we are doing. And then just a few photos just to bring some of this stuff to life. So this is a section of our new build, which was really got some serious insulation on it. It's a concrete structure, which isn't brilliant for the environment in the early stages, but long term really helps us regulate the heat and the cold. So in the summer months, it keeps the building very, very cold, those of you that understand about concrete, and in the winter months, very warm. So it means we don't have to have air conditioning or anything like that. The bricks that we selected wasn't a traditional brick build. It's a real brick clad, which meant that we didn't have to have bricklayers on site, which meant we didn't have to have 20 deliveries of cement every half an hour coming around the South Circular, and it's much better insulated as a result of that. The roof is full of PV panels, as you can see there, and we can analyse what sort of green energy we're creating. This is just an example of some of our wildflower areas that Juanita was talking about earlier on. So there's lots of areas around the school that have these. And this is the woodland classroom, again, that Juanita mentioned earlier on. Our younger children spend every day there. Nursery children are in there every day. So huge amounts of biodiversity, bug hotels, pond. And we also have a senior school science pond as well, in a different area on the site. So that's just a bit of a whistle-stop tour. Hopefully you can pick up from that how passionate we are about this topic. And I think we've had a question in so far, but please do fire some more at both of us. The first one is, what's the level of air pollution in and around the college and the local Catford area? Well, this has been a topic very close to my heart. So when I joined St Dunstan's nearly 4 years ago, one of the first things I was faced with was a lot of parents wanting to talk to me about air pollution. And it was quite new to me, actually, because I came from leafy West Kent to southeast London. So I had to research and learn really, really quickly about this. And we paid a significant amount of money to get some really accurate sensible data monitoring. So we worked with Lewisham Council, and we put these testing units, readers around the site to so that we could register the levels of pollution. And we were very, very pleased, and I'm happy to share the data with any of you if you would like it. I'm happy to send it on through the marketing department or admissions department if you want it. But it confirmed that the college was completely safe and in a green zone, and the pollution from the South Circular dissipates at a really quite a fast pace. So within a 5-metre band around the South Circular, that pollution has dissipated. So that was really good news for us. However, we wanted to make sure that the design of the new building was built in a way that tracked up into the site away from the South Circular. So we now don't have any play areas at all within quite a significant distance from the South Circular. Even though we know this data tells us it's safe, we want to sort of keep the children as far into the site as possible. So we were really pleased with those results. They were all compliant and completely green where the playgrounds are. And the design of the new build has got lots of outdoor learning spaces, and we've monitored all of the readings in those areas. And again, they're all green and completely safe, which was really important to us. So I hope that answers your question, Julie, but do jump back on again if it doesn't. Do we have an extensive school bus network to prevent parents driving to school? Is there a way to find out whether our home is within that catchment? We currently walk to our school, and I would be gutted if we had to start using the car. Yeah, and yes, absolutely. We're really keen to provide bus service. In the admissions department, we will be able to tell you. And if we don't offer a bus service, as long as there's a reasonable demand, we will put another one on. We're very, very blessed with public transport. I know it's a bit difficult at the moment with COVID and any concerns you might have, but the public transport coming to the college is really quite it's excellent, the buses, and of course we're right next to the train station. And we've opened up a new pedestrian route, as I mentioned earlier on, which is on the east side of our site, which is on the road that Catford station is on. So you can come straight from the train stations up Ravensbourne, which is a lovely wide safe road, tree lined, into the rear of the site. So admissions will be able to tell you about those catchment areas with the buses. I think we've got somebody from admissions on the line. I don't know if Isabel, if you wanted to mention anything. And she did. We're planning on sending another newsletter early next week with details about the bus routes and the school uniform. Thank you, Isabel. Okay, and with overseas trips, are you looking at alternative locations that don't involve flying? Well, that's amazing. And then Juanita and I would absolutely love to work with the co-curricular team to try and limit that as much as possible. We really would. Of course, we don't, not everybody is in the same camp as Juanita and I, although it's quite surprising how many of the students are. And a lot of these trips wouldn't be able to go ahead without flying. So there is a bit of a conflict in that. And of course, as a college, we are so passionate about that real range of opportunity and the co-curricular offer, the life skills, the fact that we're not all about the academics in the classroom. It's really important to us to visit other countries. But I do think that that's something that Juanita and I are, we're putting pressure on the team that do that. And if there are alternative ways to travel, then of course we support it. And we'd be happy to hear your thoughts on that if you've got any ideas on how we can get around it and look at other options. I think I've answered the questions that are up on the screen at the moment. Anything else from anybody? I think we had a few people join us a little bit later. I'm sorry if you missed the beginning of the talk. I think we've got a lot of talks on today, haven't we? Oh, Sophie, thank you.